The Terre Haute Humane Society works tirelessly to find loving families for their homeless pets.
But it's not an easy task, especially when dogs are dropped off every day and space is always an issue.
What happens to these furry friends? News 10's Amanda Jarrett shows us in part 2 of The Underdogs.
Dart's been at the shelter for months and they need the space. Bruce was dropped off at the shelter, no explanation. Sheldon was brought in starving and diseased. Homeless, some hopeless, and they're all underdogs. Dart's days at the shelter are numbered. He's been living in this kennel for too long, his future uncertain. No foster, no rescue. Now from homeless hound to family pet. Dart, now renamed Darth, caught a lucky break.
Either gonna get put down or not have a home period, so you might as well give them one.
Remember Sophie, a fun-loving pup with nowhere to go?
Read initial sign-in date.
Until the final hour when her foster signed the adoption papers.
So when I found out that if she went back to the shelter, she was going to be put down, I said no. She was just too good of a dog for that to happen to her.
Good girl.
That's why Sharon picks a new litter of rescue-bound dogs each week.
She goes next, pass her to Tony.
Filling up a van every Sunday morning, full of lucky dogs bound for no-kill rescues throughout the Midwest.
I think it's really sad when you're putting animals down that somebody somewhere wants.
Dogs that may have a better chance elsewhere.
These animals will never walk the streets of Vigo County again.
Without rescues and fostering, many of these dogs would be euthanized just for space.
Can I see your babies? Hello, Mama.
Meanwhile, the family of 5 is outgrowing their small space. Lovingly named the Brady Bunch by the shelter, they're in desperate need of a foster home.
They're pit bulls and maybe mixes, and so are the puppies. And I do have fosters that just won't handle pits.
After weeks of uncertainty, some hope. Kim Tanner has fostered more than 300 dogs. She couldn't say no to the new family.
I don't know, there was something special about them that tugged at my heartstrings.
Fosters like Kim give dogs a second chance.
Thousands of animals would have a different fate.
Stories of hope for Dart, for Sophie, for the little family. Some at the shelter still wait for a home. Others will never leave. Sheldon didn't return to the shelter. He was so badly neglected and diseased he couldn't be saved. He was peacefully put down at the vet's office. His canine companion Sable is still at the shelter, by herself, hoping for a home. And Bruce. His collar read, "Please take care of me." Bruce was euthanized just a week after we met him. Another underdog who couldn't beat the odds. And Bruce's story isn't uncommon. 4 dogs were euthanized during our time at the shelter. That number is much lower than it was years ago, but the shelter says they don't want to put any dogs down, and they want a solution to save the underdogs. Back to you.
And to hear more about how you can become a foster family, adopt, or just help out at the shelter, you can log on to our website, WTHI-TV.com.
There you'll also find bonus interviews from the people who dedicate their lives to helping these